G'day, my name is Noel Atkinson. I'm the course manager for the MBA Leadership, and this is a presentation on how to prepare for online quizzes. Just note, this is a gold standard preparation for the quiz. Some students just do them. Take what is helpful, leave what does not work for you, and just remember that if you find all of this preparation overwhelming, many students just do the online quiz. It's totally acceptable to just press the start button and do the online quiz. This presentation has three main parts: before the online quiz, during the online quiz, and after the online quiz. So before the online quiz, and you really do need to prepare, understand, and you can prepare by understanding the test guidelines, knowing the test format, testing yourself, checking your computer, studying the class materials, planning your time, carving out a quiet test-taking spot with minimal distractions, gathering all that you'll need to take the test, and of course, taking a deep breath and doing the test. So first of all, read and understand the test guidelines and know the test format. And you'll see in every one of our online quizzes, there are often instructions on what to do with the quiz. And you can see with this lot of instructions, it draws from modules 1, 2, 3, and 4, so you know to concentrate on those modules. You know it consists of 15 multi-choice questions. You know it's 45 minutes long. You know it can only be attempted once. And so this gives you an idea of what to expect before you walk into the quiz. So test yourself with formative exercises before you do the quiz. And these formative exercises are found throughout the module. And they're just some fun, but also important ways of testing yourself. And you can know I'm kind of ready because I know the course material. I've had a look over some of the formative exercises. Check your computer. I recommend using Microsoft Edge for all of your CQ University work. Microsoft Edge is a web browser that sits on many computers and is not used. And so therefore it makes it ideal for doing your uni work because most people use Chrome for their work and for their personal life. And all of the bookmarks in Chrome can be a bit confusing. So it's nice to start off with a clean, fresh web browser, and Microsoft Edge does that. Close down all unused apps. So to prevent the system from crashing, close down anything you don't use, including your Apple Music or whatever may be playing in the background. Just use your phone if you're going to play any music, but just close down all the apps you can. If you're using a laptop, make sure it's plugged in. And a hot tip is to have two browser tabs open, one for the Be Different quiz and one to do Google searches or something else. If you're doing an online quiz and you need to quickly check something up, have all your course notes ready, your Microsoft Word and everything else. And remember that Control F is the search function that works in most Microsoft products. So study the class materials, and often people ask me, there's just so much to study, where are the guidelines on knowing what to study? If you do a Google search for CQU, unit code, unit learning outcomes, you will come to the page that has the unit learning outcomes listed. Left click on the little tab that says unit learning outcomes, and you can see the unit learning outcomes are the guide for what we consider important in the unit. Also do a search for YouTube transcription. A transcription is a written text of all the verbal content, and often we find that students who have watched a 2-hour video, that's a lot of text. It might be easier to put that full transcription into a Microsoft Word document and then do Control F, meaning you can find what you're looking for really fast. Load a lot of your articles into EndNote. EndNote does have a search function in it. So if you've got your PDFs and all your research articles there in EndNote, makes it really quick to find. And if you've got course content that you've seen on the screen, but you're not quite sure if you've remembered it, a really good habit is to put it all into Microsoft Word. And then if you're doing an online quiz, you can just press Control F and make it searchable. And then also put all the folders you use into a folder in just your general Internet Explorer, your file searching program, and then use the quick access search found in the top-hand corner of Windows, and use the magnifying glass after typing your word. Plan your time and carve out a quiet test-taking spot with minimal distractions. And so do a test run where you've got all the resources stored and stashed. Take one of the unit learning outcomes and say, well, if that unit learning outcome was a question, could I quickly find in all the materials I have the answers? Do a quiet space, let your friends and family know not to disturb you, turn off your phones and all electronic reminders, and do your quiz at a time of day that you're at your best. Some students like to do it first thing in the morning, some students like to do it at lunchtime on a weekend, and other students like to do it in the evening when the rest of the family is asleep. Gather all that you'll need for the test. So in preparation, make sure your computer is ready. Open the browser tabs, one for the quiz and one for the Google search. Do have IT support contact details ready, so you can do a search for CQU TASAC contact details, and then you have all of IT's details ready as well. Should your computer crash, you can take a screenshot of that with timestamps and email TASAC during that time that you should be doing the quiz, and it really creates a nice timestamp to say, hey, my computer really did crash while doing this assessment. Have your reading glasses ready, water for refreshment, and write down the number of questions on a paper. So you know there may be 15 questions coming up in the multi-choice. I would have a piece of paper ready, 1 to 15 written down. And then as you go through the quiz, write down your answers. But if you're not sure about what your answer was correct, then just mark that as unsure or cross out all the ones that you're really confident with. At the end of the quiz, you can then say, hey, I was not sure about questions 6 and 7. You go back to questions 6 and 7, and you can do a bit more research and think over the answers. Now, remember to take a deep breath, go to the toilet beforehand, and make sure you have a water bottle nearby as well. During the quiz, keep an eye on the clock. Don't leave the test page. So if you're looking for something, do that on a separate web browser or a separate tab, but don't leave the web page. If you have a technical problem, don't panic. Email TASAC with timestamps and screenshots. Check your work before you submit. And note, in the bottom left of the screen while you're doing the quiz, there is a deck of cards. Left-click on the cards and you can directly go back to your question. After the online exam or quiz, review what you've done. Check your grade, and we don't give the correct answers, and that's to prevent students from uploading the correct answers to the internet and plagiarism. And ask yourself, how can I improve for the next exam? Most of all, we just hope you have a good time doing these quizzes.